Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Xavier Smith, and today I'm going to talk about standard distributions. So let's start with what is a standard distribution? Well, it basically just means a bell curve. So the data falls into a bell curve, and here's some properties of it. First of all, the mean is 0. So if you add all these points together, like all the points, and then you divide by the average, well, you divide by the amount of points, then you'll get 0. Because it's a bell curve, it means there's equal amounts on both sides, basically, and it falls, well, there's a tip. And then the standard deviation is 1, so most points are within 1 standard deviation of the mean, which we'll get into very soon. Okay, so first, whenever you're told there's a standard, whenever you're told there's a normal distribution, you can draw one of these bell curves and then put the mean in the middle. And I also put these little z values here, just saying hey, well, if you want to see the z value, go right ahead. So you can do the mean and then do 1 standard deviation both sides, measure that length and then put it back and put it on the next way and say 2 standard deviations out and then 3 standard deviations out. You only have to go 3 standard deviations out to get 99.7% of the points, unless there's way outliers. So now we have to talk about the empirical rule. It's just a rule saying that for any normal distribution within 1 standard deviation of the mean, you have 68% of your points, meaning that to the right of the mean, you have 34 points, 34% of points, and to the left of the mean, you have 34% of points. Then 2 standard deviations away, you already have 95% of your points. So from the right side of the mean to 2 standard deviations, you have whatever 95, half of 95 is. That's 47.5. 47.5 of your points, and to the left, just 2 standard deviations, you have 47.5% of your points. And then 3 standard deviations out, you have 99.7% of your points. So within 3 standard deviations, you have a ton of your points. So basically, what you can do is you kind of have to memorize these. Either you memorize empirical rule 68, 95, 99.7, or you memorize 34, 13.5, 2.35, and 0.15. So basically, to get these 34s, all you do is, this whole is 68%, and there's 2 equal parts, so divide by 2, and you'll get 34. And then you'll get 90, if you're going 2 standard deviations out, you'll get 95%, right? But then if you want to subtract the 68 right here, if you're trying to find the 1 to 2 standard deviation, then you'll have 27%, and then you divide by 2 and you'll get 13.5. And then you'll do the same thing for 3 standard deviations out. You'll just be 99.7% minus 95%. You'll get 4.7%, divide by 2, and you'll get 2.35. And then you do that again. 100 minus 99.7 equals 0.3, and then divide by 2, and you'll get 0.15. So that's pretty helpful when it's saying what percent of points are 1 standard deviation, below 1 standard deviation, which you'll probably have numbers here. You can just insert numbers. If a mean's 200, standard deviation is 10, you'll say, okay, what percent of points are below 210? Then you'd be, this is 210, you'd be 34, 34, 13.5, 2.35, and 0.15. Okay, so this is a standard distribution. Just draw a bell curve and then place all this down. And this is showing a ton of your work. And then in another video, I will get into how to find points and what percentage of points are on, what percent of points are on both sides of a random point that's not standard distribution. So thank you for watching.